I swear, if it's just like a dead Nacho. Could you imagine? Off screen? Poor choice. Building tension, patience, okay. I'm intrigued. Okay. Colour in an otherwise bleak, arid landscape. Blue meth. What a beautiful opening shot. Yeah, a little hope. That flower, hey? Glass. Okay. Hello and welcome to another Better Call Saul Sunday. That's right, the show that we do on a Sunday. Today is episode 3 of season 6, Rock and a Hard Place. We shall see what this holds. Flamingo check! Flimothy, how you doing, mate? Wait, what's the news? Okay, you heard it here first, folks. Okay, so we're going to be leading to that opening shot, I assume. Oh wait, he did get away. What? Well done, mate. God damn. What a peppy attitude. Okay, not quite, maybe. Huh? Yeah, go. Take off, mate. Off with the wind. Can't imagine he'd hide so close to his car. It's the first place they'd look, right? But that call that Mike took, that we cut off from last episode, perhaps he wasn't, yeah, captured yet. Really? Oh, yeah, come on. Guys, your hide and seek game is on the line here. Oh, is there a way out? Oh no. Yeah, I mean, you gotta go, aren't you? Is that poo? Sorry, I have no idea what this is. Americans, educate me. Oh no. Don't educate me. I don't want to know. I actually don't want to know. I'm good. I'm alright. I feel like not knowing is getting me through it. Fair enough. The smell's going to put them off. They're not going to want to get in there, eh? You just got to hold your breath for as long as you can. Oh, man. Oh, it's hot outside. It's going to dry on him. Hey, well done, dude. Yeah, okay. So he wasn't captured when he phoned Mike. That fresh air tastes nice, eh? Probably not what I was thinking about, to be honest, right now. Fair enough. Valid. Sorry, until I know otherwise, I'm assuming that was poop. Right. I suppose that scene ended with the guy doing this, but we actually didn't see Nacho get out of the car, right? I guess that was a nice little storytelling device to kind of make the audience assume, right? And it means that moment where Mike answers the phone. I mean, you saw me last episode speculating. I assumed, and I was making kind of, I guess, story leaps and assumptions, or you know what I mean? I was kind of like, well, what if this is the case? What if this is the case? Started to fill in the gaps a little bit of like, well, what if they do find out that Gus was culpable for something here or there, or, you know, for Lalo, or hit him back or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Point being, reason I bring it up is that little things like that, small as they might be, kind of leading the audience somewhere, knowing that they're going to assume something, does the absolute most with those scenes because it gets the audience thinking. You start speculating, you start to fill in gaps that they might not even be moving towards. The show still, last season, still playing with you, trying to, you know, as much as we, like I was talking about last episode, know where it's going to go, prequel and everything else, there's still room in the technicality of the storytelling and how things are shot, where they're choosing to close scenes, how they're choosing to lead you, that is still injecting the show with mystery and keeping you guessing from episode to episode. It's a really fine line to walk, a really interesting mix to strike of knowing and not knowing, and really adds a level of flavour, I think, to the show in amongst this. I know what's going to happen here, at least as much as I possibly can. Yeah, we're opening the episode Rock and a Hard Place with Nacho, and it makes more sense. It makes sense for him to be the subject of that naming of the episode, but I wonder if they're going to subvert that. Are we going to have something happening with Jimmy, Kim, the Kettlemans, maybe Howard?
Está bien, okay. No hay problema.
Oh, he's a Gemini.
Pa' que se lave.
Bless him.
Gracias.
Bless. And Nacho's got a warm heart, a kind heart. Oh, he's not going to hurt this guy. Maybe that's going to undo him. Oh.
Adelante.
Love seeing humans just helping each other. You know what I mean? This is the phone call, yeah? No. Father first. Makes sense. Get out of Dodge, mate.
Deep fried upholstery.
He's alright. Bless. That little pause of, thank God.
Hola, hijo. ¿Cómo estás?
Solo quería escuchar tu voz.
No, it's little things, innit?
¿Dónde estás? Eso es muy raro.
God damn it, if this man comes out of this show dead. Both of them, to be fair, but...
No importa, papá, solo...
God, the journey that he's been on, and it is mostly just to save his dad.
Okay.
Innit? That's the goal, the mission. Yeah, it's funny that I'm talking about it because I think last season I'm starting to take stock of these stories, where they started, what I suppose the journey has been. Nacho's has, if you boil it all down to a large extent now, that's it, really. I mean, survival and getting out of this, and I guess finding a different life, but also his father, making sure he gets out of it has been his main goal. And Nacho, and I feel like us as the audience, we've been through so much watching him try to achieve that goal. And I suddenly, like I say, I'm taking stock, and I'm like, suddenly there's tension because I'm like, will he make it out? Will he achieve that goal? Right now I'm feeling maybe not. And I feel like that and how the show decides to play that decision actually has so much potential. It's characters we just don't know. Elements of mystery in this otherwise familiar prequel. And I feel that investment. I'm watching this and I'm like, God, I need him to get him out. I really do. I really do.
Adiós, hijo.
Oh, don't be the last time he says that to him. Come on.
Adiós, papá.
Yeah, don't. I feel it drawing me in. I was already in, but this is just to feel like teeing up, Yeah, man. Scary stuff. I feel it too. Everything that I've just talked about, and the relief at seeing that his dad's still alive, everything that I'm seeing on Nacho's face, the performance here from him, I think is translated to you.
You're new. What happens now?
That's up to you.
Okay.
Is that bad with you? Put him on.
Hello. It's not underling boss anymore. Equals, I think. That's how Nacho sees it. He's got some strength now.
You are screwed. If they catch me, make me talk.
He will squeal.
That is not good for you, is it? Even if I disappear, everyone's gonna smell your stink all over it.
There we go. Nacho's got some power.
Whatever bullshit way you want the story to go.
I'll do it if you get my dad out.
But my dad.
Can you trust Gus? I mean, I do believe Gus.
You are not the one that I need to hear.
But fair enough. I know that. Nacho doesn't feel that for sure.
Your dad's gonna be okay. Anyone who goes after him is gonna have to come through me.
Goddamn right, yeah. It's the best you're gonna get, mate. Damn. So possibly Nacho giving up to the slaughter. I have a feeling there's gonna be a bit more to it than that, but bless him. Don't sniff it, mate. Oh, hello. 20 minutes in. Do you know what I need as well, by the way, since I'm making demands? Namaste. Sorry, not that. I need the fish. The fish in the background. I need him to make it out alive. To be fair, is the fish in Breaking Bad? I can't remember. Don't spoil it.
Well, I'm just thinking about the timeline.
Marvel.
The right year and model. Mint condition, no less.
Oh, namaste. Car. They're going to try and put the car somewhere or use that to make it seem like Howard's somewhere he shouldn't be.
What if we use the real car?
That's a bit direct.
I think the word you're looking for is audacious.
But it's a real risk.
Oh, it's interesting. Close up on her helping him dress as Saul. Yeah. What a stark image compared to how she's perceived Saul before, how reluctant she's been, and now she is helping him put on the guise. Almost like a using him, right? I mean, that's what we're kind of seeing a little bit more and more this season and, closing out last season of Kim coming into her own, slipping Kim. A lot of the conversations, I think, been her having a lot of the power, a lot of the driving force behind this plan. This plan only exists because of her. At the same time, last episode too, and the Kettlemans and the stick, and Kim taking control, taking charge. She's the ringleader. She's the one, you know what I mean? And there's almost an element as she's dressing him of using him. You are my monkey, dance for me. He's a cog in her plan now. Partner, sure. But she's dressing him up to go out and to enact what they are scheming, planning together. Let's not forget when Jimmy went into the country club, the golf club. Kim was sat in the car with the binoculars. Jimmy was doing the dirty work. Do you know what I mean? He is being used by her here. We're only here because of Kim. That little image, that little close-up of her dressing him, I don't know, just kind of drives that home for me. So interesting how the power dynamics changed. And I don't think really that Jimmy perceives it that way, as being used. Because I don't think Jimmy really wants to be here. He doesn't want to be doing this. He's been persuaded, but it's so interesting if you go back to season 1, season 2, Jimmy was the, slipping Jim, right? The one that was coming up with all these schemes. He was always the driving force. If they went out to, do their little scams in the restaurants with, when they were drinking, harmless stuff that they kind of just did for fun. I'm just remembering those moments where Kim, I can't remember what name she thought of, but she came up with a name and she was kind of nervous and shaky. Look at her now. What a character arc for her, and a reversal from what we've seen from the beginning of the series, where we are now. And how in control she is. Not only of everything happening, the story, the plot point of this season, but of Jimmy and Saul. And she's wielding that.
I mean, there's a dozen ways we tip our hand.
There's a dozen ways we tip our hand, and she's kind of going back. Is she going to say something? She wants her way, and she usually has it.
I got it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Sorry, that little look as he was looking back at her. It's kind of I said no. How can I make this right? How can I make this a yes? How can I make this work? How can I please Kim? And I think the emotional dynamic that we've seen of them throughout the show, let's not forget, has been very, I think, healthy from Kim's perspective, in the sense of we know that Jimmy has a lot of insecurity, a lot of things that need to be worked through. And I think Kim quite often has been a real shining beacon for empowering him. And it's interesting how her personality has changed. She went from more so, a law-abiding citizen to less so. And when she was a law-abiding citizen, that kind of empowerment was positive to Jimmy. She was caring, empathetic. I think now that her path has changed, the path she's on and slipping Kim, actually what we're seeing now is, I think, and I don't think it's necessarily on purpose, but I just think naturally has become, it's turned into manipulation. Because, to a certain extent, she is preying on his insecurity, on his poor relationship dynamic. Sure, it's not necessarily her responsible for that. That's Jimmy and his issues. At the same time, I'm just saying objectively, from outside the situation, that's the effect now that I think that has, those emotions and the status quo of how this relationship is, and the vulnerable state I think Jimmy is in a lot of the time, how Kim has buoyed that, been a boon to that previously because of where she's been at. Now that she's changed, I think that, as we're seeing, it's just taken the form of unwitting manipulation of him and his vulnerable state as a very insecure person. A not so mentally secure person. Like I say, I don't think it's on purpose from her part. I don't think she's, consciously doing that. And to a certain extent, it's not on her to manage Jimmy's insecurities. It's not. But I wonder if there's going to be any reckoning of that.
That's pretty slick.
I think the word you're looking for is audacious.
Hello. And when he pleases, he gets a treat. There you go. Ooh.
Misdemeanor arrest report on your client. Why are you giving this to me?
I'm supposed to turn it over.
Model citizen.
You can keep that copy. I'll see you.
Also confidence. I do wonder whether that's some element of scheme here.
I'm sure you recognize this man.
That's news to me.
He died in a massive firefight at his compound.
Keep it together.
Bear with me.
Go on.
Let me explain how this looks from where I stand.
Jimmy is culpable.
Jimmy McGill represented Ignacio Varga.
She's going to suggest that Jimmy was with the cartel and Kim has a connection to Jimmy.
Are you building some kind of case against Jimmy?
No one is, at the moment.
At the moment.
Yeah.
Gina Khalil thinks Jimmy knew who De Guzman was.
Well, you got to prove that.
I'd like to believe he didn't.
Well, that's nice of you, mate.
Think Jimmy ever intended to become a cartel lawyer.
Spot on, mate. Yeah, well done.
It's not a suit that fits him.
Not a suit that fits him. Oh, that's such an interesting line, considering, again, the suit that Kim was helping fit on Jimmy in the previous scene. She decides what suit he wears. This is what I mean. And it's almost that element of you don't know what Jimmy is capable of, right? The same thing that's been playing around in Kim's head of everyone's assuming what she's capable of. And it's like, no, you don't know what I'm capable of. I am my own person, all of this stuff. I wonder if Kim's going to get a bee in her bonnet. We'll see.
If Salamanca duped him,
he could be okay.
Privilege was obtained in bad faith. Salamanca was in deep, and I want to know what his people are doing here in Albuquerque. And Jimmy could help. I'll make sure anything he tells me won't blow back.
This is a get out of jail free card. Kind of.
We won't hold him accountable.
Yeah, I mean...
I'm talking to you because I think you'll be more willing to hear what I have to say.
Wise. Well, I say, on the surface, sure. Now, I don't know. Will she even tell him? I feel like she... Well, maybe she won't. Are we gonna... is the show gonna push the reversal that far? She is slipping Kim, slipping Jimmy. Slipping Jimmy in his heyday didn't tell Kim things. That was entirely the problem. Is she going to take power here because she knows Jimmy? I mean, at the end of the day, this is interesting because we know that Jimmy's a good enough storyteller, a good enough liar, that if he wanted to take this option out, he could. He never would, I think. Or he'd never want to. It's not to say he won't. But he could take it out. And with, well, Lalo's not dead, but considering they think Lalo's dead, it would be a safe bet. Doesn't really align with their wolves and sheep, winners or losers, I feel like. It's going to be interesting to see how this play. Again, 1,000 different ways that this could play. Still, the show injecting mystery, obfuscating what could or couldn't happen, the ways that we could get to the places we know are more familiar. That to me right now watching, I'm like, I can't wait to see what they do. I keep drawing attention to it because I think it's important. Like, you know, like I say, I keep talking about the prequelness and how there is just this element of, well, we know what's going to happen. How often already I've paused this episode to talk about how many different elements of mystery of not knowing that they are still injecting in the show, even at this point in the show, in the final season, where theoretically we should be getting closer and closer to the familiar, the things that we do know. We had a monster in custody. We just let him walk right out of jail. We failed. That sucks for you. The whole system just failed. Ah, an interesting line from her. Questioning the system. You know what's wrong, and I think Jimmy does too. And that's more in line with her tenets of... I'm sorry? Ah.
Although I distinctly remember you referring to him as a scumbag.
Oh, yeah. So interesting that she is correcting someone. Jimmy's not even here. This is a professional work environment, right? So that's why she's pushing it. But yeah, it really shows how in the thick of it she is, considering now of her own volition, she is correcting people on that. Underneath all of his showiness. And I think he knows what's right. He does. Whether we listen to it or not is a different question. It's interesting how the show is still also teasing this idea of Jimmy being able to be redeemed. To a large extent, I think as the audience, you've kind of put that aside now. Right? There's been so much that's happened, so much that he's done, decisions he's made that you're like, he's Saul now. And it's like he's still being given ways out, which I think is so interesting. Even up until the final season, he can choose a different path. Bad choice road. Doesn't have to be. You just got to be stronger enough to get off it. Nice. Okay. Oh, looking very good, mate. Nice shirt.
When?
How? Why?
Tomorrow.
Last meal?
Boss says he looks too pretty.
He does.
I'll do it. I'll get the hell out of here.
It's so interesting. I feel like in Breaking Bad, I was always under the impression that Mike had these guys' respect. You know, that he was the top dog, he was in charge of them all, Tyrus, all of them. We are seeing that that's not really the case. They're coming at us, there's conflict there. It's not really the dynamic. I do wonder if there's going to be something that, I mean, it might just be perception, right? You come into Breaking Bad and you're presented with things and you don't perhaps see where they've come from or the history or the interpersonal dynamics of the henchmen. Fair enough, it might just be that. But I do wonder if there's going to be something that happens that actually does solidify their trust in Mike and erase him as their leader, more so. I talk about this topic a little more later, but I think the reason Mike is so accepting of these events is because he sees a lot of himself in Nacho here. Nacho is doing exactly what he himself would do, putting his life on the line for his family. I think because of that, it's allowing Mike, in the mental space he's crafted for himself on this bad choice road, to only see this through blinders. He's not coming at this from a bigger picture of this kid shouldn't die or I don't want him to die. I think in his own way and to his own ideology, he's giving Nacho the grace he would want in said situation by allowing him to make that sacrifice. As I say, I talk about this later, but I spent a little time while watching this speculating on the change Mike went on in this arc and how he's suddenly okay with feeding Nacho to the wolves. There's nuance, I think, to the moralizing at play there. Namaste? Yeah. Sorry. I heard the music and I was like, Howard.
Tony, good to see you. How's night school treating you? and econ, Mr. Hamley.
Good for you. Keep it up.
Oh, see, oh, such a nice guy. Tony and his ginger, come on. They paid him off. Tony! I'll tell you what, now I've made that association that I'm never going to forget Tony's name. That's how you do it.
Sorry.
Oh.
My bad.
Oh no, Tony's a good one. Fair enough. Okay, sauce. Copying the keys.
Better get a move on. The kid looks quick.
He is, I think, yeah. Oh.
Let's go, yo. Probably about 45 seconds. I'm just saying.
I get what you're saying, Huell. I don't think that's helping, though. He is quick, you know. He's in good shape. Fair play to you, dude. Hawking all that cereal, do you know what I mean? Sorry.
Smooth as glass.
Well done.
How does it work?
Can I ask you something?
Go ahead, Huell. Yeah.
You're a lawyer.
Hmm.
You make good money, right?
Why are you doing it? Why'd you do this?
Your wife's a lawyer, a legit lawyer.
She's financially stable.
Why you do all this?
Good question.
I know from the outside this looks like just another scam, but you're not seeing the bigger picture.
Is he not?
Once from now, there are people whose lives are going to be way better because of this. We're doing the Lord's work here.
I think he's persuaded himself
If you say so.
that that's the truth, and I think Huell's honestly, he's absolutely right. It's as simple as Huell's talking, and I think they're so Kim and Jimmy, they're so in amongst it all that they can't see how the why of it. I don't think Jimmy really knows why. You know, I think as the audience, we have the information to make a pretty good guess, right? All of this insecurity, this need to prove himself, this need to be valuable, powerful in this world that he perceives he can never be if he's legitimate. Not in a way that's going to satisfy his sense of self, his ego. This lack of security, this, like I say, vulnerability of self, I think that he has, that he's not worked through, not identified even, because he never went to therapy. And he's not self-aware enough to be able to work that out himself. He's just not. And that's okay. You know, some people aren't and some people need help, and that's okay too. But it's so interesting. From Huell's perspective and this element of class hierarchy almost, of, you know, Huell makes his way doing what he does. He is not fortunate. He's not privileged in the way that Jimmy and Kim are. There's a divide there. And I think from someone like Huell's perspective, that's why he's asking the question. He can't fathom why someone with that level of privilege and power to him, you know, like from Jimmy's perspective, he doesn't see it that way. He doesn't see his privilege, his power that he actually does have, the fortune that he does have. From Huell's perspective, being, I think, where he is, you know, not perhaps having a lot of money, working from job to job, turning to his pickpocketing skills to, I would assume, get by. It's like, from his level, looking up, it's like, why would you got it so good. And it's so interesting, isn't it? And someone like Huell can see that so much more easily than I think Jimmy and Kim can, as they are being so in it. Like I say, I think it is as simple as Huell's saying. Look at Jimmy's response, how complex, and also I think the way he delivered it, condescending. Well, no, you see, you don't realise what we're doing here is going to mean that blah, 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 blah. You know? And it's like, Huell's got a really good point. Why are you doing this? But it is interesting, I think, the imagery that we've got so far this episode, the power dynamics that I think I can see of Jimmy's not in power, it's Kim, it's all Kim. Jimmy's the puppet. Saul is the puppet. It's being used to a large extent. And the power that he thinks he has, the wolves and the sheep and the way he perceives himself to be a wolf, he is not a wolf here. He has no power. And the reason he can't identify that is because these things that have put him in this position is this lack of security, lack of self-worth, that mean when Kim is disappointed or he has to say no to her or I don't think that'll work, he is driven to come up with something else, to dance to her tune, to make sure that he can make it work. And there's a level of control there that I think he isn't aware of not having. Such an interesting, you know, like you can go as deep as you want with this stuff. I think if you want to peel back the layers, it's all there, and it goes so deep, and you kind of have to look at, you know, all the way back in season 1 and the journey that we've been on to really identify why he is where he is, why he doesn't have power, why he's got so many excuses when he's asked such a simple question from Huell of why are you doing this, dude? And it's like his if you say so. It's like, yeah, Huell can see that he's invented excuses to persuade himself that he's not powerless, that he's under his own control, that he's making his own decisions, when the reality is he's not. I will be so interested to see if Kim tells him. Because I'm willing to bet or guess that she might not. But then on the flip side, I feel like she will. I don't know anymore.
What's going on?
I have news, Jimmy.
It might interrupt your plans if he wants to
Lalo
go.
is dead.
Yeah.
She wants you to talk. She says it's right.
Okay.
Well, what do you think we should do?
What do you think we should do?
You should do whatever you want, Jimmy.
Yeah.
They don't have anything on you. It's just a fishing expedition to see if you bite.
It's important, I think, to note how Kim presents this. Not so long ago, she would try to persuade him to take the deal, to get back on the straight and narrow. I feel like it shows you how far she is calm in that she goes on to say in a minute, it depends. For a law-abiding citizen, this is a no-brainer. But it's more complicated now. Much in the same way when Huell asked Jimmy why he does it, it was complicated, when in reality it really isn't. This added element of the deal that's being proffered to Jimmy also got me thinking this episode, and I'm going to put a theory here. Kim said it herself. What's-her-face called him a scumbag, and rather than bringing the deal direct to Jimmy, she went to Kim instead because clearly Kim isn't involved. We obviously know that she is. Also, the line of there being no case against Jimmy at the moment. I could see them going after Jimmy. Maybe it gets really bad. And it gets to a place where maybe Kim realizes he only finds himself in the current situation / didn't take the deal because of her. Maybe she takes the fall. Maybe there's a moment of heartache where he won't let her, but she outwits him. She's learned from the best, after all, and there'd be a whole lot of poetry of the student surpassing the master. This also has the added element of, from a certain perspective, Jimmy having groomed her to take the fall for him. Stick with me. If we trace all this back, Kim has only become this version of her because of his influence, because, as Chuck would say, everyone just likes him. That's how it came to be, after all. In this sense, and if Kim ends up taking the blame for all of this, assuming they get so close to Jimmy that they have him dead to rights, there's a strong argument that Kim's fate came about because of the thing Chuck threw in Jimmy's face far too often. This idea of him corrupting everyone and everything around him. It would be so brilliant because it would bring us full circle for the story they started with, and I could see a line whispered from Jimmy's lips. Chuck was right. It would be beautiful, painful, and would bring that narrative thread from the first half of the series to cap off the ending. I realise this could very well be fanfiction at this stage, but it's what I do. As always, no confirming or denying any of this, if you would. I realise it might all be wrong, but I want the opportunity to see or adjust as we go. After all, we're still so early in the season.
You think I should do it?
You think I should do it? Every moment of this conversation, he's giving power to her. His autonomy is all but gone. He's a puppet. You know, in the language he has to ask every time. What do you think I should do? Do you think I should do it? Kim, you know, exhibiting, I think, what she's exhibited the entire show of, Jimmy, take autonomy, take your power. You can decide. He's not capable of that, is he? He doesn't want it.
It depends. Do you want to be a friend of the cartel, or
Yeah.
do you want to be a rat?
Sorry, small note, but it is wild that she said it this way. People in less law-abiding societies see it this way, sure. But like I said previously, the choice is, do you want to work for the cartel or be a law-abiding citizen? Her saying rat is so loaded and absolutely is manipulating him to not choose that. Why? Because it would get in the way of their life, their scheme, this new status quo and freedom she's found. Or for sheep, I'd say that being the rat conflates more to being the sheep. That's conforming with the system, playing by the rules. It would be walking through that door, which I don't think he's capable of doing either, considering where he's come from, what we saw in Winner. And as much as what I'm talking about in regards to manipulation, the power dynamics, the autonomy that Jimmy does or doesn't have. And it's like I said at the beginning of the video, she's not doing it on purpose. It's not a conscious effort decision that she's making. It is just because of the emotional places both of them are in, the power that that Kim's taking in her identity and what she wants to do, that she's just overpowering him. Looking very nice in white, gotta say. Damn.
Bolsa will want to hear the truth from you. Their methods take too long for his taste.
Damn, what a...
I'll say it was Alvarez. I've been on the payroll for almost a year.
I do not envy his path here, God.
As fast as you can, Victor.
He puts me down, you mean?
Damn. Is that the way it's gonna go, I wonder? The black shirt You know, I think we see Gus wear black quite a lot, right? It kind of represents, I suppose, this darker side to himself. I think the black shirt underneath the white jacket, symbolizing that he is putting that side of him away. You know, he's got his best foot forward, his friendly face on here. It's almost a white flag of peace, isn't it?
I should be there for insurance. There are a lot of ways this can go south.
You want to be there for Nacho, mate. Huh. I wonder, this could be the way he goes out. I don't know if I believe it. There would be, I don't know, something a little bit half-hearted to my mind of that being the way it goes, the way that his story ends. A little bit of a whimper, isn't it? What were you looking at there then, eh? Okay, we're rushing towards this, huh? Yeah, the desert. Okay, that opening shot. It's so interesting, isn't it, seeing what Mike has been pushed towards, how he has influenced his own ability to justify things, how he perceived Nacho, how he fought for Nacho, couldn't get it done and had to just think of a way to better justify it in his head to get on board. I think there's weakness there. I'm not saying it would have been wise to go against Gus and Mike might have died for it, but it would have shown a lot of gumption, a lot of strength to keep pushing. And, you know, that's the sign of a man with a foundation of morals, which I think is who he's persuaded himself he is, but I don't think he truly is. And I think we saw that in Bad Choice Road. And I was talking about it of like, he has this, like I say, this justification for everything and the way that he thinks about it, but I think he's wrong. And I think actually he just doesn't have the strength to get off that road. And there are decisions he could make to get off that road, and he might die, but he would die a better man. Better in the sense of moral good as opposed to moral bad. And I think the way that we're seeing Nacho's story is demonstrative of that journey that Mike has gone through, which I think has got him closer, like I say, to the Breaking Bad Mike that we see. You know, the little baby steps that have got him there, because it's not been one big thing. It's been many little decisions. Hedging here, there, until suddenly he is this and he's okay with it. I don't see how Nacho gets out of this, though. I think perhaps maybe this is it. That's why I'm talking about what this achieves, because like I said, I think if this is how he goes out, it's a bit of a whimper. And for his story, that's how that feels. But if you look at it from the perspective of Mike's story, it has done a lot, which is perhaps the reasoning that's gone on here as to the writing of it.
Today you are going to die.
Maybe.
Who put you up to this?
Don't look at him.
Who?
Because Nacho cooked something up. Now he can say what he wants. Oh, the glass! Wait, pause. He was looking into the glass. Maybe he smashed it and he's got something in his hand. We saw in that opening shot the rain falling on the glass, like the glass shard. I mean, this is the thing though. This is what makes this shot, this moment so interesting, because the way that I'm thinking about it here, every person in this frame here doesn't die here. I know exactly how all of these people die, or the fact that they don't here, so he can't hurt any of them. the prequel element creating intrigue, right? And I mean, it might just be as simple as he can't do anything here, or whatever he's gonna do, it's not gonna go anywhere. But I have a lot of faith in the writers. We'll see. But you start to think that way, and then you're like, but no one here can die or whatever else. So what is gonna happen? And it gets you intrigued. It pulls you in further. The prequelness actually providing fodder to engage the audience.
It was Alvarez.
You think it's Gus, eh? Hector not buying it.
Him? You think the chicken man?
Huh.
What a joke.
Getting his shots in it.
I opened Lalo's gate, and I wish I killed him with my own hands. And you know what else, Hector?
It's the truth, I think, yeah.
Put you in that chair.
Oh.
Oh yeah, your heart meds. I switched them for sugar pills.
Oh.
You were dead and buried, and I had to watch this soul bring you back.
Damn.
And you're sucking down on your jello night after night for the rest of your life.
Oh, God.
You think of me. You twisted.
Okay, he's dead. He's not getting out of this. Oh, okay. There it is. This isn't the plan. Yeah. Sorry, I'm so in.
Do it.
Yeah. He just wanted out. Done, over, gone, finished. On his own terms. He took power back in the end. In the end, he had that in a storyline in a world where he just didn't. God, what a way out. What an exit for him. What a brilliant performance. Nah, I'm alright with it. I feel like the way that went, and actually the monologue that he had was so beautiful. The way that he came clean, the way that, like I say, I think in those final moments he released everything and he got that power back. I think everything that he said in that monologue was the truth. It was him talking. Really. Oh my boy. I'm glad he got some semblance of autonomy back in the end. He went against the plan as well. He didn't follow anyone's orders. He didn't follow Gus's orders. Oh, no, good on you, dude. Hey, rock and a hard place. What could he have done? There's not much, really, was there? And I mean, I'm thinking back to the opening, that blue flower, representing Nacho, I think. Life, colour, in an otherwise arid, dry, lifeless in a certain way desert. He was just a little bit of a pure, warm soul caught in this life in the cartels, got too deep, couldn't get out. And there's a little bit of a warning for Saul, I think, as well, right? Because that's what we're seeing, what we've been seeing. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, you know, I was talking about it being, if he goes out here, this episode, it's a bit of a whimper, but that wasn't a whimper. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like the presentation of it, the way that it went out, and the themes and what it represents, I think, for his story, and I think, like I say, the accompaniment that it is, I think, to Mike's story. I'm good. And I think, like I say, that monologue was so brutal, raw, angry, representative of, I think, everything that Nacho wanted to be and was. And he got to offload it and then go out on his own terms, taking the power back, the autonomy back. And it's so interesting that I'm talking about power and autonomy arrayed against Kim and Jimmy, and how I've talked about them this episode too. And actually, how much power, autonomy does Jimmy have? Does Saul have? How much of a puppet, in the same way that Nacho is he? How much of a puppet is Mike to his own justifications? You know, he's not in control. He doesn't have a lot of power. To exist in the roles that these characters have that we're following, they have to give that up. Or, you know, and they just justify, hedge their reasoning, their morality, to be able to be okay with it, and they fool themselves into thinking they have power, right? And we saw that in the conversation between Huell and Jimmy. We saw that, I think, in how Nacho has gone out, and in regard to how Mike has talked and felt towards him previously and what he wanted, and how he's now okay with how this went. And I know that he's not okay, but he didn't fight it. He didn't see that fight to the end. He gave up and let this happen. Not my call, is what he said. Yeah, rock and a hard place indeed. And I hope this means that they get his dad out. I think I did predict when his dad came into it that, you know, how lovely and warm he was. Oh, he was absolutely going out, right? At some point in the show, it would be brilliant and lovely, actually, in a certain sense. Rating it as I am against what happened here to Nacho, of actually, if his dad makes it out and Nacho didn't, which I think isn't necessarily how you perceive it to be going all that time, all that while ago. And God, I kind of sensed it as it was happening, but that last phone call, that last goodbye, bless him. Oh, Nacho. One love, dude. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I've got some links down in the description. If you want to support me further, got early access to my videos on Patreon and YouTube memberships. Thank you, as always, genuinely to those who do support me. Genuinely, thank you so much. Hey, consider watching these videos on screen right here to keep the hype train running. But that's it from me. More Better Call Saul coming soon. God, episode 3 of, what is it now? 12 episode run, 13 episode, what a God run. We're early, and this is intense. Anyway, that's it. I hope you're well, and I'll see you soon.